Hi everyone, I'm John Rennie from Boneyard Pictures. In order to help celebrate this coming Halloween, I figured I could just do a short video with some quick recommendations. It's something I haven't really done much of on the channel, but let me know if you enjoy it in the comments below. I just wanted to go through some essential horror movies that have kind of been with me my whole life since I was a young film fan. So first up, the one that I guess we can't go without mentioning really, is Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Now this film is one of a trio really, which I'm going to go into now, which really got me into movies when I was a kid. So we've got Night of the Living Dead, which is possibly the quintessential independent horror, but 1962, another independent filmmaker, Herc Harvey, and his writer made Carnival of Souls. Now, this is readily available today, but when I was a kid, it had a re-release in 1989, and it was a real big deal. It almost became really precious to us horror movie fans, and that's a one that's really spooky. It's really full of atmosphere. Great organ horror soundtrack by Gene Moore. It's really just a fantastic film, really creepy locations, so a really good one for Halloween. And the third one in this kind of trio of movies that got me into movies, of course, is Eraserhead by Lynch. Now these three are kind of perfect. They're a midnight screening trio. Night of the Living Dead, Carnival of Souls, and Eraserhead. Three midnight movies that really made me the guy that I am today. And there's no way that I will be doing this channel, I think, if I hadn't have fell in love with these three horror movies when I was a kid.
Wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims.
Next up is a film I really do like a lot. I really got into the Pittsburgh film guys after I got into George Romero when I was a kid. John Harrison was George Romero's assistant director at his production company, and Harrison has gone on to make some awesome movies. This one is my favorite. This is Book of Blood, based on Clive Barker's Books of Blood. There's recently been a remake of this for Hulu, I believe, which was pretty cool. But this one was a UK production, and man, it's just a very unusual film. The cast give the film a reality that I haven't quite seen in any other works. It's pretty gruesome.
Sleep naked.
Right.
But it's a beautifully shot film. It's very well colorized. Harrison's a great director, very good editor. But I Books of Blood. It's a recommendation. Harrison went on to make some great films. He made Dune for television, which I think is fantastic. He did a great low-budget film in Pittsburgh with Savini and Joe Pilato and the Pittsburgh guys called Effects. And I've always kind of admired Harrison. He kind of grew out of that group of filmmakers and became his own man, I think, away from George Romero. But yeah, John Harrison's Book of Blood. It's a fantastic movie, creepy as hell.
Better have a look at this.
Next is a movie that was John McTiernan's first film with Pierce Brosnan and Leslie Ann Down, which is Nomads. Now this is a really interesting movie. It's got a great central performance by a young bearded Pierce Brosnan. And when I first saw this on TV when I was a kid, I had no idea what to expect. And because I didn't know what to expect, it kind of blew me away a little bit. It goes in directions that you can't really describe until you see it. It's a fantastic, strange horror movie. And it's an early flick from the guy who went on to make Predator. He did the remake of Thomas Crown Affair with Pierce Brosnan. He also did Die Hard. Fell into some harder times later in his career with the law. But Nomads is a terrific horror movie. Just went somewhere I never expected. And for those reasons, I think it's a fantastic movie.
You will be frightened by Nomads.
For all you lovers of anthology horror movies out there, I thought I could pick a one, again, from the days of VHS when I was a boy, after midnight. I watched this one until the tape was gone.
Go ahead. Scare me.
When I was a kid, it's a great anthology. I've always put it up there with the best. I loved Campfire Tales. I love Creepshow by Romero. But this one, it's got its own kind of atmosphere. The wraparound story is really creepy and over the top. But it really works for the movie. There's some fantastic stunts in this too. I won't go into too many spoilers, but there's a great performance by Marge Helgenberger in this.
I'm all alone here, and I don't think this guy's kidding around.
Who went on to fame in CSI. But she's kind of a woman who works on a telephone operating station, and she's plagued by this psychotic killer. It's an absolutely fantastic episode in the anthology. The anthology stories do vary, but for me, for nostalgic reasons, and a good one with a few beers or a few smokes, After Midnight would be my anthology pick for these Halloween recommendations. It's a cool movie, really cool. I'm so glad the Scream Factory gave it this fantastic release.
Are you ready to be scared?
Of course, you can't have a Halloween list without having a creature feature, so I thought I'd pick on 1958's It, The Terror from Beyond Space. This was the 101 release. Really good transfer of the film. I had this again on VHS when I was a kid. Very bad copy. I watched this a lot. And I pick it because I think Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon must have seen this one when they were writing Dark Star. And again, Dan O'Bannon, who went on to write Alien. It is very much like Alien. But of course, the laws of physics and gravity don't apply in this one because it was made in 58. But if you can look past those kind of 50s, 1958 B-movie effects, this is a good little shocker. I really recommend it. Great cast, Marshall Thompson, Sean Smith. It's a really good movie. So that will be my creature feature pick for this Halloween. Great film. It, The Terror from Beyond Space. And of course, Halloween, you've got to have your Dracula movie, and I picked Scars of Dracula, Roy Ward Baker, Christopher Lee. Now, this was one of the later Dracula films from Hammer, and it doesn't really get a lot of love.
He is evil. He is the embodiment of all that is evil. He is the very devil himself.
But you've got Dennis Waterman in there. You've got Patrick Troughton, who went on to fame as Doctor Who.
You fools! You think you can destroy my master?
But this was always my favourite because it was one of the first Hammer movies I saw on late night television, Scars of Dracula. And you know, I was a kid, there was a bit of cleavage, bit of blood, Christopher Lee's menacing red eyes, and for those reasons, this has always been one of my favourite Hammer horror movies. This was a great release, and this was the American one from Scream Factory. And there's plenty of special features on here that was really good to find out about how this movie was put together. It's an excellent film, and I have to say my favourite from Christopher Lee and Hammer's Dracula movies. It's no masterpiece, but I saw it when I was a kid, so for nostalgic reasons, Scars of Dracula, that'll be my Dracula pick for this Halloween. It's a great movie.
From the scars of Dracula.
And then, carrying on to some movies I picked up kind of later in life, this one is really important. If you're a regular here on the channel, you may have heard me talk about it quite a lot. Pontypool is a terrific little siege horror movie in the tradition of Assault on Precinct 13, Night of the Living Dead, zombie movie. But the zombie virus doesn't quite spread the same as it does in other ones. This is written by a great writer, Tony Burgess. He's a fantastic writer. The End Body Problem, Pontypool changes everything. It's kind of a trilogy. The Hellmouths of Belderley too. He's a fantastic writer. His horror stuff is great. So if you like horror novels, check his stuff out. But his screenplays are equally great. He's also a very good actor, Tony Burgess. Great comedic actor. He's done quite a few films now. Septic Man, Pontypool with Bruce McDonald. Also Dreamland with Bruce McDonald, which is excellent. And The Hexecutioners. They're all worth checking out. But Pontypool, special place in my heart. Blew me away. Didn't know what to expect. Just picked it up in the supermarket with a few beers with friends on a Friday evening. And man, this is a good zombie pick, I thought. Along with Night of the Living Dead for Halloween. Great movie.
Sidney Pryor is alive.
And then last but not least, you can't have a horror movie list without including one of the greatest horror writers of all time. So for Stephen King, I thought for the late night Halloween movie, Dolores Claiborne. This one's after all the fun's over, nearly all the beers are drunk, and you want to sit back and relax and meditate. Dolores Claiborne, directed by Taylor Hackford.
Your father and I are just having a little discussion here.
Is everything all right?
Great performances in this by Kathy Bates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, David Stratton. It's an epic film, this.
You're my daughter. You know, that probably feels like something better left alone, but it's true.
Christopher Plummer, John C. Reilly. It just kind of blew me away. I read the novel and I thought, that novel's so perfect. I'm not sure how they could do that as a movie. But Dolores Claiborne is my favorite Stephen King adaptation. Visuals are absolutely stunning. The film work in this, the editing that Hackford put together is incredible. But this movie is just a real one-off. It's a fantastic adaptation, one of my favorites. And I think it's a great Stephen King movie to kind of round off the horror of Halloween night and sit back and relax before bedtime. Maybe it's 1, 2 in the morning, after midnight, after the creature features, after Dracula. Dolores Claiborne, a real piece of beautiful horror movie filmmaking.
Sometimes you have to be a high-riding bitch to survive.
So those are just a few of my physical media collection, I guess. Let me know if you'd like to see more physical media reviewed on the channel. This was just a few recommendations for Halloween. I'd also like to see 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much to everybody who's liked the channel, who's shared videos, who's subscribed. I really want to keep it going. It's fantastic. I never thought Boneyard Pictures would make it past 100 subscribers, never mind 1,000. I started it just to have conversations about the movies I love with other film fans, and man, it's gone way beyond that. So thank you all very much for anybody who's watched, subscribed, liked, or shared anything on the channel. I really do appreciate it. I've had some fantastic conversations and made some great friendships that are going to be long lasting. So, if you did like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let me know in the comments below what you think and what would be your Halloween picks. And thanks everyone for watching.